I jumped on a budget Jetstar flight from Bali to Sydney to head to Manila to hunt long-distance flights on my paraglider. Head into Manila. My budget flight was overnight, so I landed at about 7 in the morning, picked up the hire car and got some supplies in Sydney before heading out into New South Wales. The roads got smaller and smaller as I got further and further out into the sticks. I landed in Sydney this morning with 3 hours sleep on a short overnight flight from Bali. Picked up this hire car, went and got some supplies in the city, and now I'm heading to Manila. The weather's not looking great, as you can see, but I've got time to settle in, get some sleep, definitely, and maybe get some work under my belt so that I can feel good for the weekend. Here I am. Mount Bora is up in the clouds. It's cold, it's raining. For my first night, I was greeted by an incredible sunset across the skyline. The first couple of days weren't that flyable. I managed a 10k before the clouds started to build and I landed to be attacked by flies. I made some friends with a lot of local pilots, and then on Thursday the conditions looked great for a triangle. Booming skies and light winds. I'm up here on launch. These guys are getting away up there. I'm waiting for this gap over here to fill in a little bit so I can do a triangle out front here. We'll see how it goes. Low winds, so triangle is the best option today, and less distance to get back to the camp. Launching in still winds meant jumping over some stones to get airborne, then grabbing my phone, which had popped off my flight deck, and pushing on speed bar out to the thermals in front of the hill. I quickly found the climb and was taken straight up to cloud base. Okay, now I want to get up to 2,000. Now I'm higher, I can just widen the circles a bit. Upper cloud base, 2,000. Bit bitty, turbulent lower down. Now the clouds are filled in the valley, so I can head down along my route line and connect with that next cloud. Let's go. Bit of a gap, but there's a nice cumulus there. It's a little bit off to the right, but it's down there. There's the sun. That cloud's dissipating. I'm now going upwind towards Manila. There's big clouds everywhere and they are pulling me straight up. I was going straight upwind, and I was just going up basically. But now I'm going cloud to cloud and see how far I can make it upwind before turning back to crosswind it back down to the Mount Bora farm, which is down there. I need a bigger jacket on tomorrow. I am definitely feeling the cold which I didn't feel yesterday because I didn't get as high. Now I'm on the glide, closing the end of the circle. The wind is a little bit stronger than I expected up here. So I'm cutting across back to the higher ground here. I can see the launch there. All I have to do is reach the launches to close it. And the farm is down there. So either way, I'll get back pretty close in. Thermals are bigger and weaker, sharp and narrow earlier. But now I'm going up pretty slowly, but in a gentle turn. I can see a tiny paraglider in the distance that way. That's the first one I've seen all day. It seemed like I went on a very different route to most people. There's the launch. 41.3 kilometer triangle. 2 hours, 50 minutes. Amazing. That's the biggest triangle I've done by far. And no retrieve required. I can just head out down to the landing. So the verdict's in. Australia is going to be awesome. It was my first day with a proper full day forecast. I set a 40k triangle and I smashed it and had to do spirals to get down because it's still booming at 3 o'clock over the landing field. It's tiring though, it's very tiring. Pretty turbulent in a lot of places, a lot of big sink patches, so I'm going to try to build my hours up each day because I was pretty tired by the end of the 3 hours. The following day the wind was a little too strong, but Sunday it looked perfect for distance. With a bunch of pilots who were up for the weekend, I set off with a goal of over 100k to beat my personal best. Elliot and Anthony launched first, marking the thermals ahead. With the wind off to the north, I skipped through some bushes on this launch and made it into the air. My phone again popped off. I've got to sort that out for next time. As with each preceding day, I quickly established in a thermal and climbed up towards the clouds. It's the weekend or Friday, so there's lots of pilots around. More wind than forecast, which is good for an out distance turning point flight, and a few gliders ahead of me, so I'm using speed to fly, using the speed of the glider to see if I can catch up with these guys, fly with them. But there's already an amazing cloud street, pretty much where I want to go, a bit off to the north. But if I just keep pushing downwind, keep taking a lift, avoid the mine, this could be the day. Worry about getting back once I've landed. But the big thing is feeling relaxed, feeling warm. The first flight I wasn't very warm, and I was still a bit tired, a bit stressed out. Today I'm feeling a bit more relaxed. Flying with a sailplane. Still in the second climb, really. That's awesome. Hey, how's it going? Here I'm flying with Anthony on his Flow Mystic. We don't get a lot of these gliders in Europe or the UK because they're a local Australian brand, but it flies awesome.
So I'm coming up to the turn point, 35k from launch, still going pretty much downwind at cloud base, little tufts here. I've got to avoid the mine because they do explosions, and apparently if you land in there they won't let you out for a while, or if you don't get blown up. Doing good, but out there where I want to go, it's looking a little bit thinner in terms of clouds, but I have had good climbs in the blue while I've been out here, and there are little tufts here and there, so just got to look out for those signals. So I got one glider ahead, one glider very close on tracker, just a little bit behind. So we'll see how far. If I get to 40k at the turn point, that would be a good downwind, then I can cross wind. I'm gliding out with my bros, got Anthony down there, no idea who those guys are, but they all came out of nowhere to join me in a booming thermal. As I cut past the mine, turn point is in sight. Still some clouds up there along the highway. Let's see how it goes. Gonna follow these guys on the left. Clouds are dissipating a bit, really.
The pilots on the swing gliders were Daphne and Koos, two Dutch pilots travelling in Australia for several months.
So I've made the first turn points in Boggabri, but I'm being hammered now, and it's blue ahead of me. Let's go. Oh, Anthony's out there.
I was making good progress, but a few minutes later, disaster struck. Unfortunately, my camera was off.
I just had a disaster. I got attacked by a wedgie. I was warned about these by the guys, but I didn't expect it. It came out of nowhere from behind, and it's made a huge hole in the top of my wing. You can see it there in the sunlight coming through the top. That was crazy. I had to do some evasive maneuvers to avoid it attacking again. I think it's fucked off now. But I didn't even see it coming. I heard it, and then it just went for it. Oh my god. Disaster. Going for that clear patch. I can't believe I got attacked.
After landing, I could get up close and inspect the damage. So I'm out in Manila in Australia for 2 weeks of flying. I'm working remote, and third day flying, I was going for the 100k. I was in a thermal quite low in the blue, and I got attacked out of nowhere by a wedge-tailed eagle. And I've been warned about these, but I didn't see it even coming. I didn't see it coming at all. Just minding my own business, and then I heard its cry, and it was on me, and that is a pretty big hole. Come from the inside all the way along. You see, while I was flying, I could see light coming through the top, so I thought I'd come down and land, but that was not how I was expecting my trip to end. Once I'd inspected the damage and packed up, I went to the road to see about getting a lift back. Daphne and Koos landed nearby, and we met up on the road. We didn't have much luck hitchhiking as a three, so he persuaded Bob and Nick to come and pick us up from the side of the road. Once back in Manila, we managed to patch up the wing with the repair tape that I brought, but my nerves were shot from the day's events, so I took the next day off to go into the Railway Museum at Wallace Creek, visit the Split Rock Dam, and catch up with some work. So I'm here in the cabin reflecting on the last 2 weeks out here in Manila. The first week the conditions were fantastic. but my best flight of the week got cut short by that eagle attack. After that, I really wasn't in the mood for flying for the next couple of days, which were very good days. I managed to get a couple of shorter flights in, including a flight over to Manila for lunch. But by the time I was back in the mood for flying, storm front had settled over Manila, and this last week I've just been busy working, catching up with things, but not flying, unfortunately. Overall, I'd say I'm a little bit disappointed about the trip. I really wanted to get my personal best and fly over 100 kilometers, but I've gained so much experience thermaling here in the strong conditions, getting to know my wing, using speed bar and C-line controls for long distance flights. All these kind of things will help me fly further and longer in the future. I may not be back in Australia for a while, but I'll definitely be flying closer to home. Keep an eye out for those videos on the channel.